Today in the program, business in a softscape field, creation and development of private nursery, gardens, thousands of types of plants, tens and hundreds of thousands of cultivated samples, and enormous work of many specialists. The gardens were a privilege of rich people historically. The most famous belonged to lords or big spiritual centers. Moreover, even one of the descriptions of gardens sounds as the Garden of Eden. Handing Semiramis gardens were one of the world wonders. Versailles was center of enlightened Europe, struck with its gardens definitely. The garden was the exact place where one could not only rest but also could admire the nature in all its diversity and gain artistic inspiration. Today, the gardening became a tremendous industry. Thousands of nursery gardens all over the world, hundreds of thousands of decorative plants and specialists, each of which are at a premium. Effective work in this field is not just encyclopedic knowledge. In botanics, amelioration and many other complementary specializations are necessary. Thus, one of today's heroes has 50 years of experience in softscape.
Мой бизнес многопрофильный. С одной стороны, это хорошо, с другой плохо, потому что многопрофильность требует много знаний.
My business is multi-purpose. From one side it is good, from the other side it is not. Since diversity requires much knowledge and energy, I cannot focus on business which brings profits. It is only ephedra, etc. My interest is decorative trees of ingraft form. It was, it is, and it will be.
Я буду отдавать в этом направлении, потому что я в этой теме как бы очень давно.
Therefore, I will be giving priority to this direction since I've been working in this topic for a long time. So the big practice keeps me moving forward, bringing interesting breeds, planting and offering to our green space specialists in such a way who participate in city landscape and create it in the private sector as well. These new rare decorative trees, very interesting compositions are created.
Этих новинок редких декоративных деревьев очень интересные композиции.
Fortunately, having started his own business at early independence years of Kazakhstan, Vladimir Nikolaevich could keep his business on and develop it as well, becoming one of the most successful professionals. Today, he is leading 5 nursery gardens. Each of them has its own specialization. They're a little bit multi-purpose. There are pine plants in some cases, decorative in other cases, flowers also. I did not want to miss any of these traces. All of them are original. So how popular are they? Let us say the market changes. Some plants were in trends 3, 4, 5 years ago. Such flowers as chrysanthemums are in the past. Such flowers as chrysanthemums are in the past already. The demand fell. There was a time of hydrangeas and a time of dendrons. Tendency in plants also changed the same way as the fashion in human life. In these latter days, such tendency as fruit growing came back. People want not just landing material, but landing material of fruit cultures with a big ball. In order to have fruits today after landing, it is the same day. Naturally, I understand these people. The rhythm of life became enormous indeed. That's why we need to get everything at one time in this world, including our fruit-growing sector. Therefore, we have to come firm, which means to breed the fast fruit plants so on quick fruit wieldings. Fast fruit sorts, steady against the illnesses and adapted to local conditions. Actually, Vladimir Beloborodko has succeeded in it. Today, thousands of plants of sorts from different countries are being adapted to Kazakhstani conditions successfully on the basis of his nursery gardens. Additionally, specialized seminars are held for his colleagues where he shares with experience of breeding, planting, and other delicacies of the business with his team. He helps much to young green space workers and landscape designers. Generally, there was no person who we were left without his attention and assistance. He shares his secrets with us with pleasure. He tells of the new trends as well. Additionally, he shares his experience with young designers and greensmen. There is also one serious complex of decorative and gardening plants of nursery gardens which is managed by Natalia. Her gardening center has been not only breeding and growing the plants for gardening over the last 20 years, but also providing all necessary for professionals of landscape design, as well as for simple customers who wish to decorate their gardens. First, it was the selling of lawn grass, landing material, and so on. We reached the size of gardening center progressively, whereas only landing material available, but also all possible tools, inventory, anything required in general can be obtained in one place. Our gardening center is not big as per its territory, but as per its fullness it has everything, and the biggest one is in Almaty. Generally, there are nursery schools which grow plants or those existing as gardening shops where techniques are sold. We're the only representative in this field offering them all together at one place. The same challenge is faced by the specialists of Natalia as Vladimir's team. Adaptation of the plants brought from all over the world to the complicated climatic conditions of Kazakhstan, a country where many climatic zones are met, the existence of a big diapason of temperatures, severe winter and hot dry summers. There are steppes, deserts and mountains. The task is to find the options which can meet everyone's expectations. Material which was grown at this place is fully acclimatized. Accordingly, in case of -35 temperature degrees in my nursery garden and it is +45 degrees during summer, the plant have grown. Let's say then it will grow in any climatic zone. In Almaty Oblast, or we can say to Karaganda, which means these are those plants which will give good decorative looks. The same in the northern Oblast, as well as vice versa. We are in the southern part there. It is required for more higher temperatures in Karaganda. So the local plant will feel itself much better there. Complication of business is also an existence of trends for plants. Therefore, we have to arrange adaptation and breeding new types of plants, which are in trends of Kazakhstan gardeners and landscape designers. It was as follows 20 years ago: lawn grass, white, blue conifer, red rose. Nothing more was required. Of course, people are ready to follow landscape design now, which means once landscape design gets more interesting, assortment of production appears accordingly. Apparently, people started to travel abroad, looking on trend magazines, wishing compositions that are more beautiful on their lots. All this maybe resulted in growth, much flower production, and many decorative, deciduous plants appeared.
Естественно, что хвойные породы.
Naturally, conifer exceeded deciduous plants, since by some mentality people want plants which grow the whole year. They want pine needle, white blue, green, blue four-square form grown all year. Since deciduous falls and somehow the effect disappears for 4 to 5, 6 months, and that is it. People want so. It is cold here and people want other colors this time, but they have green needles, white blue junipers, golden plants instead, etc.
Голубые можжевельники, золотые туи и так далее.
But our heroes do not only follow the trends, but also create it by bringing something which did not exist before, or giving new life to well-known plants, representing them in a new role.
Это индийская сирень, лагостремерия. В Ташкенте на ботаническом саду растет, но здесь сорта около...
This is Indian lilac, Lagus stremira. It grows in Tashkent's botanical garden. We have about 6 sorts presented here: white, pink, lilac, and double flowering. Its bloom period is in August in Florence, Italy, and other places. It is abundant flowering, and its visit card is exhibited for selling and gratification of people who visit and have it in all of their nursery gardens. While we grow about 3 types of lilac, this is simple lilac, Amur lilac, in rare cases Chinese lilac. Simple lilac is a big quantity of sorts. There's more than 200 sorts.
В редком случае сирень обыкновенная, это большое количество сортов, их там за 200 переваливает сортов.
У нас уже достаточно богатая коллекция гераний.
We have a rich enough collection of geranium. Hanging geranium is intended for decoration of terraces and balconies. It hangs and looks very beautiful. Therefore, it is in trend. As you see, we have not a bad assortment of geraniums. There are geraniums which impress with their leaves' beauty. For example, there is golden geranium, golden leaves geranium. There is also Poecilophilus geranium. Poecilophilus geranium may be not good with its bloom, but very lovely with its leaves. Therefore, we have quite a big collection. We keep working on breeding this type of plant further. We breed it by cutting away. That is it. We try to satisfy the demand as it is.
Мы размножаем черенками, стараемся удовлетворить спрос так, как он есть.
People are very interested in such plants which decorate the terraces and streets in the summer period. and they can bring home to winter gardens in the wintertime. Moreover, it keeps its blossom and beauty in the winter period. In other words, they are long-term plants.
Продолжает цветение и красота зимой. В общем, это многолетние растения.
Let's say if we speak about the volume of plants we deliver from Europe, we have imported 70,000 plants for now. 70,000 pots of different diameters were delivered this year. 8 trucks with plants arrived this year. It is very interesting to me as well. I brought 6 trucks last year, and during the crisis, 8 trucks arrived. In addition, we grow approximately 70,000 plants in the fields, which means those which are further grown will be more cheap to produce of local production and will be exhibited in the market. In autumn time, we do not always succeed in growing the plant to its necessary size. Once it grows to 1 meter, we have the line behind and start to dig the herb. In order to stay on top, to keep up in the trends of the world's crop science, integration into the international society is required. Moreover, our specialists have extensive contacts with their colleagues all over the world.
Я посещаю бельгийские, голландские, польские питомники.
I visit Belgian, Dutch, and Polish nursery gardens, rarely German. I like it so much. Each country has nursery gardens which have their own accents and priorities. Someone handles roses, for example. There is a marvelous garden with roses in Tantau-Cordas in Germany. Mian del Pa in France. There are nursery gardens which collects new plants from all over the world. They pay good money for the patent. They bring them, breed them, and further they become popularizers of very new sorts. I specialize mainly on deciduous, therefore I have such nursery gardens where I take these new sorts. It is a Polish garden, Schmidt. It is the largest by number of new sorts.
Это польский питомник Шмидт, он самый большой по количеству новинок.
It is a huge amount of information which we have to reread, not only in the Russian language. Well, I must say there is not much information in this direction in the Russian language. So all this information is collected in head gradually. As per today, the special direction in our domestic nursery gardens is fruit plants. If the main direction in gardening were visual beauty and exclusively decorative plants in the early 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, today fruit cultures are gaining more popularity, although they have their own complications in breeding.
Время старых сортов лимонок, пеструшек, столовок, в том числе апорта ушло.
Time of old sorts, pineapple, lemming, eatery, as well as Oporto has long gone, since the complex of requirements to modern sorts are early appearance of fruit, steady against illnesses and taste qualities. Priorities are changed. If we used to eat Oporto and our local sorts, eatery, lemming, Alatau Dawn, Sultanate before, now the accent is changed onto American sorts. I would like to create private breeding nursery gardens for the nurturing of adopted sorts for southern Kazakhstan.
Адаптированных сортов для юга Казахстана. Это очень актуальная тема, и для меня она такая больная.
It is an actual topic. It is such a sensitive subject for me. From the other side, it is interesting to find sorts. Source of this illness, and being a propagandist, pioneer and promotion of these new sorts. We should offer to our consumers the products which will not be sick. I am for minimum chemical treatments of the product, and I wish to see pure products with a minimum amount of chemical pesticides on the tables of our consumers. Since sorts which are not steady against the complex of illnesses are used, a big amount of chemistry is used accordingly.
Применяются сорта, которые неустойчивы к комплексу болезней.
Nurture of plants is huge work. As our hero stated, this is not a profession, it is a mission. During high season, we have to work 18 hours per day in any weather. We have to develop and study constantly. In return for it, you see the results of your own work, which gratify not only you, but also people around you.
Наверное, человек, когда он работает в саду, когда вообще что-то для себя создает, он приходит к какому-то своему...
Maybe a person during his work in the garden creates something for himself and comes to his own eye. In other words, it makes me calm. In order to avoid high blood pressure, I work on land. Further, some spiritual development starts pure and simple. So the garden is not only a place for rest, this is a place for rehabilitation and some spiritual development.